that means that plastic part is right on top of my ear.
Oh, yeah, no, not the plastic.
Oh, it hurts. Then these, and then these glasses.
Yeah, the glasses are adding to it too.
My God.
You
Pray for me.
warrior strong. You are warrior strong.
Add my ears to the prayer list if you have them going on.
We will add them to this vigil.
Please.
Your sensitive ears.
Your nose, my ears.
Yeah.
It's the same.
It's the same.
My bruised ears and your cancer.
Yes,
Totally the same.
Same as my nose cancer.
Definitely not what I'm trying to say. I scratched that.
No.
Take it back.
I'm the
take
one
it back.
that said add it to the vigil.
Okay. I just want to be mindful and demure
and cutesy.
About your nose cancer.
I'm still using that phrase. And if
I'm
people
still using
are mad about it, I don't care.
No, I used it yesterday. I do not care. Like, no one can tell me when something ends, or if you can't tell me what coin is, you don't get to tell me that this trend is done and you're over it.
That's right.
Okay.
You know what I love? I don't think we've talked about it out loud, but I think I've shared one of his reels that has been clipped together on our story. The guy that's doing the recap of 2024.
Oh, yes.
And he talks through the months
so quickly.
He's like, February, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. So he's going through the months and he's recalling all the things that were happening.
If you're chronically online,
yes,
this is gold.
It is gold.
Because it makes you have like all these memories like, oh yeah, we were really doing that. Oh, we were doing this dance. Then we were saying this word. And we were wearing this thing.
This is all happening in 2024.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. Like Gypsy Rose, like just so many things that have been, Kate Middleton, so many things that we have mentioned on this here podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But I shared one of them, but I'm so excited for him to get to the end of the year and to do
the recap.
Final boss 2024 recap. I cannot wait. We will share it when it comes.
They're some of my favorite things to watch.
But I think Demure and Cutesy is in there. I think it is. I think
of course it is.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It took over TikTok.
Yeah.
And then it came to Reels. So here's when you know something's like really, really big, because everything does happen on TikTok first. And 2 weeks later, all the millennials finally figure out how to share it onto Reels. And that's like a funny thing that goes around all the time. So if it goes viral on TikTok, if it's really, really big over there and makes it to Reels, it's huge.
It's huge.
Because some things really do just live on TikTok.
Yeah, they do.
Some things genuinely live on there. They stay there. They don't make... It's too young.
Yeah.
For the millennial to find it funny and then share it on her Facebook page. Like, it's just... Some of those things do not convert. But when they do, and they manage to hit all of the social media platforms, it's got to make it into the recap. I think that's the bar of which, the barometer of which they have to judge things by.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay.
This guy, he's just
say it again.
He's just killing it.
I think you're right.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
It's like my favorite thing to hear.
I know you're right. How about that?
Ooh, that's even better.
Not even I think. I know.
The difference between those two sentences are the same as saying, I'm sorry. And I'm sorry if it hurt you. Those are the equivalent right there.
Ooh.
I think you're right. I know you're right. I'm sorry. I'm heartfully sorry for hurting you, or I'm sorry if I hurt you.
Yeah, that's not a real...
You know the difference.
That's not a real I'm sorry.
No, don't say that to me.
I think if you're adding an if, a but, anything like that...
If we got to the point where you have to apologize to me, then you have hurt me. So it's not an if.
Yeah.
So either don't say it at all.
Yeah.
Or come 100% and say it with your whole chest.
You could say, I'm sorry. I know that hurt you.
Exactly.
I think that's okay.
That's totally fine.
It's not if. You can't say if or but.
Do not do it.
That's a bad apology.
It's a bad apology, and people are habitually doing that. And I don't think that they hear themselves do it. The same way with the let me let you go.
Yeah.
You say it so much, it becomes routine. It starts to lose some value, or it's actually kind of rude.
Yeah.
And so you need to mean what you say and say what you mean. Think about it before it comes out of your mouth, please.
Yeah. And maybe you aren't fully sorry for the thing you said, and that's fine. And maybe the only part of it you're sorry for is that it hurt someone. Mm-hmm. Then that would be appropriate. But you would need to say, I am sorry if this was hurtful to you, but I meant what I said. right?
Oh yeah, you can certainly still stand on business.
You can still stand on business with what it is, but just make sure that you're communicating the right thing. The housewives really struggle with that.
They really do. But like if you've hurt someone and you know that you've hurt someone, if it's unintentional, I've had to say that before to people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of my because I'm not a manipulative person and I'm not intentionally mean to people, but with this mouth, you can imagine how many times something comes out and it is absolutely not what I intended. It's not what I even meant. My own brain doesn't know what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
But it's working so fast that there are times that I'm like, whoa, I actually didn't mean it like that, but I know it hurt you.
Yeah.
Because it was like a very real thing that I said. Please forgive me.
I've seen you literally write out a DM or a text and then you say, I'm going to read this back before I send it. And then you'll look at me and be like, does that sound really bad? Like I've seen you do that.
Well, because you don't know anyone's tone too.
Yeah, tone is hard over.
There's that famous Key and Peele skit.
Yeah.
The famous Key and Peele skit where the guy's like, okay, yeah, let's go. And the other guy reads it like, let's go?
Yeah.
Oh, we gonna go? Okay. Like it can happen so easily.
Yeah.
So, but no, there are definitely times that I'm like, or, like we always say, it's so important to communicate when someone's hurt you. If you aren't willing to communicate it, then that tells me that maybe it's not bothering you as much as you think it is.
Yeah.
And it's not, the onus isn't on the other person to guess if you're mad at them or not.
Sure.
The onus is on you to come to them and say, this did hurt me, or I don't like what you said, or whatever, or you got this totally wrong.
Yeah.
And then let that person do the right thing.
Yeah.
But just to like kind of sit there and fester and talk to other people about it or whatever, or even just sit and fester and talk to no one else about it and wait for that person to like have this epiphany.
No. And that
they may have no clue.
That drives me crazy.
Yeah.
You guys have two options.
Yeah.
You either get over it
and
you truly actually move on in your brain, you move on, or you address it if you can't move on. You don't get to sit in the middle. I can't stay in the middle.
No.
It drives me crazy. Don't fester, don't gossip, don't talk about it. Get over it or address it.
Yeah.
Okay. This is actually great advice for Thanksgiving. It actually is.
Oh, yeah. Because you're about to see a bunch of family. A bunch of family.
Your family is on their way right now.
The family's on the way. Santa is soon and he's watching.
Yes.
But yeah, it's going to be, I think, especially after an election year.
Oh, it's going to be a tough day for some of y'all.
It's going to be, my family, we check it out the door.
Y'all do.
We always check it out the door, and it's very important. And everybody knows that.
This year, y'all are really going to have to make
really
sure
gonna have to.
the rules are set, because I know there's a lot of differences amongst y'all's family.
Well, I think my mom said yesterday the count's almost up to 60 she's feeding on Thanksgiving. So you have to think that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of big personalities.
Think about it. If the country literally voted almost 50-50, it's safe to say that maybe a lot of your family is split down the middle.
Absolutely. And I think in mine for sure, because
you've got people from all over.
I think that there are some families where, let's say, and this is going to be a generalization, but okay, I'm not going to be too specific with it. Let me before I have to apologize. Before I have to say I'm sorry for hurting you.
Not another retraction.
God, no, please. Is like if you've grown up and lived in the same area your whole life.
Yes.
Let's say. And that could be the Pacific Northwest or the Deep South.
Yeah. Could be anywhere.
Okay, could be anywhere. But I'm just saying, if you have stayed there, lived around your family for a very long time, a lot of times you just all believe the same thing, or at least similarly enough, and thus would vote the same way.
Absolutely.
That is not my family. My dad is one of 9. This is the side that gets together for Thanksgiving. Some live in Nashville, Tennessee. Some live in Ohio. Some live in North Carolina. Then we have the cousins who are in LA, New York City, freaking Saudi Arabia now. Like, and my cousin, I have cousins who travel the world for their job, for their living. So they see a ton of different cultures. There are so many different lived experiences. I think in some families, your lived experience is, I was born here, I was raised here, I teach at the local high school, my husband's the coach, then we come home and we have my grandma over, and it's just like, this is the daily life. And so your lived experience is going to be very different from someone who travels for volleyball and
Yep.
sees a million different cultures and people and orientations and whatever.
Yep.
It just is. And so the way people vote, I think people are so quick to forget that the way that people vote is based on their lived experiences.
Yep.
Their lived experiences.
Yep.
So it actually, I've been meaning to say this.
Say it. It's Thanksgiving. Say it. Is this a wow? Is this a wow?
Let's go.
Yeah, make it your wow.
Okay, my wow award here is going to be the worst of the worst are the people who cannot get past their own stuff. Like they think they are so right.
Mm-hmm.
How could anyone feel differently than I do? To me, that is a narcissistic way of viewing yourself.
Yes.
Is that your lived experience and thus how you've come to your decision about how you're going to vote trumps.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to use the word. It's the only one here in the sentence that's going to work. Your lived experience trumps this person's lived experience.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what they've been through.
Yep.
It matters what you've been through. So
Yep.
you've decided these 5 tenets are the most important and the right way to think.
Yep.
But this person, having not lived through any of those things that you
Mhm.
did, have decided that these 5 things are most important to them in their life from their lived experiences.
That's right.
If you can please say to yourself, my experiences have formed my opinions.
Yes.
I don't have the same life as you.
I know.
I don't even have the same life as you. I don't have the same life as anybody.
That's right.
We don't have the same life as a single other human walking on this planet.
That's right.
So how can you come to the conclusion that everyone should think like you do and that these should be the most important things?
So when you're sitting across from your uncle
Yep.
or your cousin at Thanksgiving and you're stewing and you're steaming about who they voted for
Yeah.
or the things they might post politically, you've got to remember that you don't know Uncle Steve's entire life journey and things that he has seen or experienced or been through. Maybe he was in the military.
Yep.
Maybe he works in healthcare.
Yep.
Maybe, something happened in his marriage. People have their reasons they vote, and they are very personal reasons.
Maybe
and
there's
you've got to look around at people and go, each
Yep.
one of you, we all get one vote.
Yeah.
And we are allowed to vote, however, based on what is precious to us.
Like there might be a mother out there who has a 17-year-old son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think
She
people
has
want.
a 17-year-old son
Yeah.
and he's about to turn 18.
Yep.
And
Yep.
2025 is coming up.
Yep.
And she's nervous if someone stays in the office
Mm-hmm.
that there could potentially be World War III. Would that mean that we don't have enough military? Would there be a draft? That mom is allowed to make that decision because that is her child. This is her life. And that is what she's going to say. This is number one for me.
Correct.
And she's allowed to do that.
Yes.
She's allowed to do that.
Yes.
Now, you might have all daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And you go,
Mhm.
well, you know what? Women's bodies are number one for me. I have all daughters.
Yeah.
So I've decided that the most important thing is this.
Yeah.
And so I'm voting that way
Yeah.
because that's super duper important to me because this is my lived experience. I need people to me, though it just comes off very narcissistic.
It's very narcissistic.
It's very narcissistic for
Yeah.
people to walk around.
But it's
high
also
and
like
mighty
a
that
little.
they know it all.
It's a little like performative. Some of the
Yeah.
things I've seen, like the kind of manufactured outrage a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, are you really trying to change people's minds, or is it more that you just want people to know
That you're mad.
that you're mad or
Displeased.
how you feel or how you vote? And it's fine. Like, shout it from the rooftops what you feel passionate about,
Absolutely.
but you can't do it
Mm-hmm.
while dissing the other half of the country.
Yeah, no,
right?
it just does. It's never going to work like that, and you're not going to change anyone's mind like that. Like screaming at people is actually not.
No.
It's not going to happen. And Glennon Doyle says something. She says, "Hate doesn't know proximity. Like it can't." If I am sitting right in front of you, it is so much harder to scream at you and say you're an idiot and da 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 da. But obviously behind a keyboard, there's no proximity. So people they do whatever they want to do. But in real life, you are sitting down with people and you are breaking bread. And this is one of the earliest things that we did in civilization
Yep.
to show love.
Yep.
Don't let this crap, do not let politics prevent you from breaking bread.
Yes.
And then if you want to have healthy, robust, knowledgeable conversations, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that you can actually like really change someone's mind.
Yeah.
But to walk in with a chip on your shoulder or to be gloating, either way, don't do that.
Don't do that.
It's not productive.
Don't.
We are not meant to do that. That is not what today is about at all.
No.
And it does not, for a day, put down your arms.
Yes.
For a day, put them down and just eat.
And
That's it.
You get one family, and maybe that's your true family. Maybe it's friends that you've made into family, but like your relationships are, when they talk to people who are elderly or like on their deathbed, right? And they ask them questions. The thing that they care about the most and that they're thinking about and that they're mourning the loss of or whatever is their relationships.
Yeah.
That's what they care about. Not who won an election.
Nope.
Not how much money was in the bank account.
Nope.
None of that superficial stuff. It was, their daughter or whatever relationship, their friends. That is what matters. So we've got to be putting that.
Get back to that.
Get back to that.
Get back to it.
Can we all just calm down?
It's the human connection. We just have to get back to having these human connections with people. It's vital. It's the only way that we are going to move forward.
We must.
The screens aren't going anywhere, so there's always going to be the angry people screaming behind them. But like, I compare it to like this idea of what's important to you based on your own lived experiences. And that's not to say that you can't put yourself in other people's shoes. I am an empath through and through. I put myself in everyone else's shoes before I try to do anything because I really want to think about how this could come off. But at the end of the day, people are still allowed to vote based on what affects them the most right now.
That's right.
That is okay to do. People get their hair dyed the favorite color because that's what makes them feel best in the moment. But you're telling me you can't vote that way? Like, give me a break.
Right.
We've also discussed on this podcast, and someone did write me and say it was really helpful to hear when we were talking about that some people are one issue voters. One and only one.
Yep.
We brought up our friend whose husband's in a union because nothing else happens. If the union goes away, then all life goes away. Money, paychecks, insurance, okay?
Yeah.
So they break basically one way or the other based on unions. And so that person wrote me and was like, that was actually really helpful to hear because I am constantly like, these people are taking away from my daughter's rights or whatever. And she's just like, yeah, I guess like how can someone care about my daughter's rights?
No one cares about a stranger's daughter's rights.
If they can't pay for their life, like
if they can put food on the table for their own children,
yeah,
why on earth would we believe that you care about my daughter's rights, some stranger that you don't know? That is not, guys.
But the flip of that doesn't work either, right? So like that person's not expecting you to care about union.
No,
She's not on her Facebook or Instagram going, I am just not hearing enough people talk about the unions. Like, so the inverse doesn't work either. So that's what I'm trying to get across is you are not more important. You and your values and your lived experiences and thus basis how you vote is not more important than the other person's.
Yes.
It's not. And I think some people take that very harshly, but I need it to be boiled down to common sense. It doesn't. You aren't more important than anyone. What do I always say? You're not special.
Yeah.
And I don't know who told you are repeatedly that makes you think everyone needs to vote like you do.
What episode was that?
I mean, that was a long time ago.
That was early on. We told y'all you weren't special.
You're not special. I'm not special. Kristen is not special. No one has to be thinking about us or something we're going through or our kids or whatever. They don't have to care about that when they go into the voting booth. That's not saying that we don't all belong to each other. We do. But we also belong to ourselves and we belong to our families and we belong to our lives.
Yeah, our obligations, things that
everyone has different obligations. Sorry.
Like someone might have a ton of kids and they're going to vote based on like who is supporting big families, who's giving maybe tax breaks or getting certain rebates or whatever. Like again, y'all, we could give y'all so many examples,
Yeah.
but just know it's a two-way street and it really does go both ways. And we've seen it go both ways.
Yeah.
And it's gross.
I mean, look what happened in 2020. Look what's happened in 2024, y'all. Like we've seen it happen across the aisle, across everybody.
Yeah.
Some people losing their ever loving minds.
Yeah.
And I just try to remind myself, like, that's the fringe, right?
It is the fringe.
Like, this is a small amount of people. The majority of people have come around and just said, okay, well, here we go.
Yeah.
You know, Republicans were disappointed 4 years ago, and they went through 4 years of what they feel like was trudging. And then now people feel like, well, now we're going to go through it. And you know what? That happens every 4 years,
It
guys.
happens every 4 years.
It happens every 4 years. So let's not act like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah. What am I going to do?
There's a different party now in the White House. Like, this happens constantly.
And y'all
Take a breath.
everybody's going to be able to vote in 2028. I don't want y'all to worry about that. No one's taking that away from you.
And the primaries. Like, there's stuff happening all the time.
Like, no one's going to strip your rights over the next 4 years. Don't stress about that. You're just giving yourself unnecessary stress. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I don't do that.
That was a great wow.
I've really needed to say it. I've wanted to say it on my Instagram, but it's too long and people will dip out.
Yeah.
And you have to hear everything, I think, in a bigger picture.
Yes.
I think that it takes more. And this is my way of trying to have a P2P with people.
Yes.
This is my way of having a P2P with you, because we also know our listeners. They are voting differently than Kristen. They are voting differently than I am. We're not even registered as the same party, you guys. Like, if we can make it work, people can make it work for Thanksgiving. For Thanksgiving.
For one day, you can do it.
You really can do it for a 2-hour dinner.
Yes.
And
you
some
can
dessert.
Make some memories.
Make memories. Like, it's far more important.
Go beyond. I would say even go beyond just like putting down your arms. Like, actually try to make memories with these people in your life.
That's a good point.
Who, you know, are going to stand for you when push comes to shove. When the really hard stuff, like the actual true hard stuff comes in your life, things that really matter to you, you get the diagnosis, you get the bad news. Your family, for the most part, that is who steps up and is there for you.
Well, that's what was so beautiful to see with the WNC stuff, with Hurricane Helene, and especially like towns like Asheville that were hit. So you have Asheville, which is a little bit more liberal of a town, I would say, in Charlotte or in North Carolina, and then you have other ones like Banner Elk or Swannanoa or Lake Lure, Chimney Rock, and maybe they're not, maybe that's a little bit more conservative, some of those places. And what those folks were saying in the immediate hours and days leading or right after it were like, when someone comes to help, they didn't go, well, who are you going to vote for? Oh, well, who are you going to vote for?
Of course not.
No one does, because in an emergency, you are there. You are called to help on a human level.
Yes.
So people need to operate more like, this is an emergency.
Yes.
Like, we are in a state of, how can we just help each other best? Like, what's done is done. Let's get back to just helping each other.
Yes.
Let's get back to humanity. Let's stop fanning the flames and everything. And I promise that, like, I'm not trying to oversimplify it and like that, like, it's just all going to be okay. I understand that people are disappointed. You are absolutely allowed to be. Again, this happens mostly every 4 years. Half the country's disappointed. But I do need you to take a breath and just make an exception. If you can't stop posting and screaming and all the things, if you would, just for Thanksgiving. I want that for you. I want that peace for you for a day, for a couple hours.
Well,
I want that for you.
And ultimately, like, the holiday is Thanksgiving.
Give thanks.
Is it giving thanks?
It's not giving.
Is it giving?
It's not giving thanks.
Let's just,
that's the title.
It's
not giving thanks.
It's not giving thanks.
It's not giving.
Let's just take a step back, Americans, and realize we're good and we have so much to be thankful for. And we're so privileged. And you know how I feel about that.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Let's actually give thanks.
I agree.
Okay.
What's your wow?
I feel like I need like a good deep wow.
No, it does not have to be deep. I've just been needing to say this. And,
no, I think it was so good.
Of the DMs, like, are you going to talk on this? Yeah. You know what? I talk on it here on this podcast. Yeah. That's why we have these microphones and these long form ways of doing content.
So you know what? You could share the link to this. And if they want to go hear what you have to say, they can go hear it. And they will be...
And I will lose followers by the thousands.
No, they will be enlightened and you have given everybody something to chew on. I just want
Like cranberry sauce.
cranberry sauce. I want to give a wow to the loss of Black Friday.
Why? What happened to Black Friday? Are people not doing Black Friday anymore?
Y'all, it's just not what it used to be.
No, it's not.
Matt and I were discussing this
No,
yesterday.
because you can buy everything online.
Yes.
Why go stand in line in the cold for 4 hours in the dark?
He was like, there was something that united people when it was like, and not everybody was into Black Friday.
No.
I really wasn't. But
No.
like it was funny to watch, and it really united people to go at Walmart at 5 a.m. and go get, and there were actual deals that you couldn't find anywhere else.
Right.
And first 20 people, whatever. Like that was always so interesting and like fun to see humanity do this.
Yes.
Right.
And then of course, like everything, like this is why we can't have nice things.
Can't have nice things because then it started to get,
Aggressive
and people were getting hurt. And then along comes like online shopping and Cyber Monday and all the deals that you can get along the way. So we lost it.
Well,
and it's a bummer.
We also lost it because, like you just said, so it goes Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Giving Monday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday.
Yep.
And so it became all these things. So then that dilutes down the Black Friday of it all too.
Yes.
Because now there's all these other days and all of them are jockeying for the prominence that Black Friday brought.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like maybe I kind of almost want to go to the mall on Friday and just be like, what's going on here? Are people here?
Like,
are people running about with their packages of the brown paper with the twine?
Tied up with string.
Is anyone doing that at South Park Mall? I don't know.
Julie Andrews, where are you?
But like, I don't know. I feel like the hustle and bustle of that, like the magic of that, I guess, is gone. And Matt also made the point. He was like, also, it used to be really heavy on electronics, right? Like you could get this huge TV for $400. He's like, now you walk into Costco any day of the week, you can get a giant TV for $200.
Y'all, Josh and I talk about the price of TVs too often. Like,
we do too.
It's like it is a cornerstone of our marriage. It's a cornerstone.
We do too.
We cannot get over these prices.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We can't get over them. And I need to know what's bringing down the price of TVs and how can we make that happen in all the other ways?
I don't know.
How are they able to make bigger? Now, I understand maybe they're just making so many because now, a household used to have one TV in it.
Yeah.
And now I think the average is like 4.
Yeah.
And so because of supply and demand, obviously I've already talked Economics 101 this week. But because of that, then it's driving down the cost of the goods. However, these TV companies, the Rokus and whatever, all the insignias and everything, they could charge whatever the hell they wanted to.
Yeah.
And Americans would still buy it because Americans love TV.
They want TV. Like Sony could just say, our TVs are $2,000. If you want it, buy it.
People would still buy it. They would make the money for it the way that they did back in the day. So what also baffles me is that they don't price gouge us when they could.
I know.
Could.
Certain things they could, but they don't. But why?
So if the TV manufacturers themselves do not price gouge us with the pricing of TVs, then can we do that for food? Can we do that for cars?
Yeah. Medication.
So why are the TV people nice?
Yeah.
And everyone else isn't. That's what I need someone's got to have done a study on this.
Somebody has studied this. Someone listening, y'all know, I don't know, send us a link, something.
Yeah.
Because it is, the TV stuff is fascinating to me. And I would say just like electronics in general.
Yes.
That price has really dipped out Sandoval again.
It's gone down, y'all.
It's crazy.
Joshua and I were I was talking about Walmart. We were there. And they had a 92-inch TV.
Yeah.
And y'all know, hey, fun fact, podcasts, it's the diagonal.
That's the length.
When they are talking the inches on a TV, it's the diagonal screen length.
Yes.
I don't think enough people know that.
People don't. They think it's the width.
They do. They think it's the width. And then they measure.
I know.
So now that you'll know it's the diagonal and make sure you look at those dimensions. That is an incredible fact.
It's such a great fact.
It's so helpful.
Yes.
Okay. So we're looking at 92 inches. I was like, that's a movie screen.
It's huge.
Who needs a TV? Now, I get it. Some people's houses
can fit it.
Can fit it and they can hold it. not the Millers. And so it wasn't even a temptation, but the pallet, it was on, just a little pallet that they had right there in the middle of the aisle. And I was shorter than this TV on that small pallet.
Oh
That's
my gosh.
That's how big it was. Yeah. I said, I think I'm shorter than that. And I walked over and I was.
Shorter than a TV.
Shorter than the TV.
I want to know where people are putting that.
I mean, maybe they have like a movie theater in their room and they're using that as the screen or a man cave or something like that. But man, I've never seen a TV that big. And it was like $600.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it was insane.
That's what we're saying. So my question is, if someone is going out for Black Friday, for what? That's what, because it's not electronics anymore. You're not getting a special deal because the deals are already there. So what?
I don't think it's a thing. I think that it will fade out.
Fade out just totally?
Yeah. I think it will phase out and fade away. I combine those two idioms. I do think that it will just fade because
it's just not.
Why? Why would you go
stand in the cold and fight the crowds?
Yeah, why bring your camping chair in the cold instead? Now I'll do that obviously for, a courtroom.
A courtroom. But people
for other things.
People still do that for like concert tickets and stuff.
Yeah, no, I've been driving by the Music Factory and seen people just sitting along the road there to get tickets. And I'll do it for certain things, but for a TV that I can buy at Walmart any day of the week, no. But, there just wasn't as much demand. We weren't able to make as many things and manufacture and produce.
Yeah.
And so if they only had 20 of these 42-inch screen TVs at $900, people were willing to do it.
Like, I wonder if, like, does a Belk, for example, would Belk say, okay, on Black Friday, we're going to have, what's the nice suitcases that you like?
Oh, the Delsey.
The Delsey. Okay, everybody likes these Delseys and they're beautiful, but they're more pricey, right? So could they say Black Friday only, not online?
Yeah.
In-store only.
They could do that.
From, 8 a.m. to noon, Delseys are 50% off or whatever.
However, I think that's how they are trying to like mitigate this.
I think now that I'm thinking, like there could be certain very popular brands or items like a Delsey.
Yeah.
That
or a KitchenAid mixer is a great
KitchenAid
example.
mixer or like some UGG boots, things that are maybe a higher ticket item.
Yep.
That a department store or some place could be like, we're going to do like a 4-hour fire sale on this.
But they will only do it in store, not online.
Yeah.
Because their hope is that you'll buy other things. I also think that it's about the store experience.
Yes.
And now the Belks of the world are having a charcuterie, cone for you when you shop. They're doing champagne. They have live music. There's a DJ on this floor and a pianist on this floor. And it is a vibe. Like it is fun to shop in store again because they're making it an experience.
Yes. It's got to be more fun than just clicking around on your laptop.
Right.
Okay, well, you guys, listen, DM us. If you're
a Black Friday girly.
Maybe you're a Black Friday girly. Maybe you're knowing about deals or things that are happening and you're like, no, girls, y'all got to get out in these streets and figure out in the streets and figure out these
scream time.
Get some scream time in the streets. I want to know because it makes me sad and it does give the WOW award that this is kind of dying out.
That there are things that are just, but it was the last time for everything at some point. Especially in popular culture, like you think about it, you're like, okay, that was the last time that was ever going to happen because something else replaced it.
This is the last time Trump can be elected president.
There you go. And some of you can rest in that. Some of you can hopefully rest in that. You had to do it.
It is.
You're just stating a fact.
It's a fact.
No, I know you're just stating a fact. I know you are.
It's the last time
without saying a single name.
It's the last time he can be elected.
No, you're not wrong. It is the last time he can be elected.
Happy Thanksgiving. We love you guys so much. We are so thankful, right?
I'm thankful for this girl's mouth.
Yes.
I'm thankful for this girl's mouth. You want to talk about things where, hey, I'm really thankful for you.
I'm thankful for you too.
You're a really, really great friend.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
You're a great friend too. You're a great person.
Hand hug.
I know that you're a great person.
I know that you're a great person.
That feels way better than I think.
Oh, it sure does.
Doesn't it?
Yes, I love you.
All right, love you. Happy Thanksgiving. To be continued.